Hello everyone and welcome to the inaugural round here of the Vintage Series in GPVWC. We're here at Imola in some very tricky conditions. Lewis McGlade alongside Nicolas Hillebrand with Quintin Plane on cameras for this evening's action. Now, the conditions look very, very tricky out there. Nick, I don't know if you've driven in the wet in R Factor 1, but these cars and these conditions, this is going to be very, very difficult for these boys.
It is going to be extremely interesting to watch this race because obviously this is brought to us by the RFE weather plugin. These cars have wet tires, but it is going to be very interesting to see if the drivers have the necessary car control to keep the cars on the track for the entire race.
Yeah, absolutely no traction control or ABS for these guys. We should have refueling in the race, which I mean, realistically, would actually make things a little bit easier because you're not running around with 150 liters in the tank. You can drop that back quite a bit. I'm pretty sure people like Sandeep Choda, Menno Clont, and all that have actually qualified on the slick tires at this present moment in time, but they will be probably heading on to the wet tyres as this session progresses in its state. We're now at 31% wetness. Of course, we are actually back in R Factor 1 for the Vintage Series, a series trying to appeal to those that cannot generally drive in the R Factor 2 series that GPVWC offers. So there is that appeal that way. And of course, we are using the F1 SR 1991 mod. Everyone's in equal cars. This is a league edition, so we're all in equal cars out there, which is good for the league. But currently Tom Parker is on your pole position. Of course, Tom Parker, a mainstay over in the Super League series at the moment, on a 31.134, followed by Timu Toika, who drives in the Super Cup season, followed by Pavel Oknovsky, which is a name we haven't seen for about a year's time. He actually he won in, I believe it was fairly wet conditions. I honestly cannot remember. It was 2013 Super Cup at Monaco. But he has actually been the pace setter pretty much all week here for this round on live races. So very quick driver there, Pavel. As the session is continuing, we do have, I think we've got 19 drivers out there today. Nick, I know it's very tricky conditions out there, but who are we expecting? Do you reckon to be fighting up there towards the front? I know it's mixed conditions, so that really does spice it up. But is there anyone on the grid so far that shouts out to you as a contender here this evening?
To be honest, I don't really know because this is going to be, well, of course, historic cars and with no traction control and with, well, not really a small field. And this track, of course, Imola, which is generally known as a fast track, and as well, it's the modern layout, which doesn't have the last chicane Variante Bassa. It is just this long straightaway, which means that you come down to Tamburello, for example, with huge speeds. I don't really know who we can expect because anything can happen at this point.
Yeah, of course, the conditions that we set out there very, very tricky, and the rain is gradually increasing. So it's going to get harder and harder. Although Timu Toika has actually displaced Tom Parker on that pole position at a 1:33.871. Timu Toika, I can definitely recall 2 wins to his name within GPVWC, being back in the Masters series all the way back in 2013 at Lime Rock Park, very long time ago. But he's looking strong at the moment at the front of the field. Has kind of struggled a little bit over the last little while, but is doing a very good job at the moment on that pole position. Is actually putting a lap time. We are running about 10 seconds slower than the times that these boys were doing on the slick tyres as Tom Parker's spun out of the Tamburello chicane and gets back on his way. Again, conditions are very, very tricky out there at the moment. And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure everyone will be on the wet tyres, but I'm not sure if anyone's on the slicks. If they are, they're mad. 6 and a bit minutes to go of this session, and I am hoping that the rain will start coming down pretty soon. Although, no, we've not got any purple sectors. A lot of people are going red and stuff like that because, yeah, these conditions are very, very tricky. Currently, the man a lot lower down than I would have thought is Sandeep Choda, who's in 13th place, now 14th place, coming up towards the line. He's going to cross it. Is he going to improve? Yes, he is. He goes on to pole position. Sandeep Choda in the Benetton goes up onto pole, a 1:33.650 for the Indian British driver. Race winner in Formula Challenge in the last season. They ran in R Factor 1, actually won back in Hungary. His only race win in GPVWC at this present moment in time, and he is also looking very strong. Still though, Timu Toika, he's in a close position, 5.5 minutes back. 5.5 minutes, 5.5 minutes left of the session, and looking pretty close. And the track seems to be good enough to improve slightly as Menno Clant moves up into 4th position. Again, another previous race winner 3 times, I believe, in Super Cup. One of which was at Australia in very, very similar conditions. Very tricky, wet stuff. Nick, do you reckon he can have a similar form? Of course, the Super Cup car last season also very tricky on the throttle. Maybe not in the same sense that this is, but maybe Menno can actually fight up there. We've not seen him towards the front of the field for a very long time.
I think it's actually very important that he's very consistent, but he definitely has the pace as he's showing here. Pavel Luknovsky, oh no, David Yoon, sorry, was on the wrong camera here. David Yoon actually with 9th place at the moment in the Jordan Ford without a nose at the moment, making his way back to the pits, probably for another run, or maybe not.
There's enough time for another run.
Yeah, definitely enough time, but he's just making his way back. I think he had an off at the Tamburello chicane. But yeah, Menno Clant definitely with good pace so far. Actually, in rainy conditions, the top 9, well, the top 10 are not that far apart, the top 11. It's 2.5 seconds, and obviously the conditions can still change within the race.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 2.5 seconds sounds like quite a bit, but realistically, it's not that much. Not in these conditions, in these cars. Through inconsistencies and stuff in the race, I mean, you've already seen one person missing their front nose, being David Junt, who's definitely an experienced driver. Of course, many times he has won races in GPVWC. He's been in championship contention a few times, and I think he's finished second in 2014 in Formula Challenge and WSS. So obviously a very competitive driver there in David Junt, very experienced, making a mistake that a lot of people on this grid could fall foul to in these conditions in these cars. Three minutes to go. We'll see if anyone can improve. The wet conditions are gradually decreasing now. This is exactly what we want towards the end of a session. And if anyone can improve, it is going to be now. The rain is coming down very slightly, which means that it's going to be very important to remain on the drying line. I will note that there's a few things with this track, such as very specific anti-cuts and stuff like that, that are very, very tricky. Particularly on the exit of the Piratella, there's an anti-cut there that's very nasty. I found it in practice once. It's not good. Have you actually driven these cars, Mr. Hillebrand?
Yes, I have driven these cars, and it's realistically very tricky to get those right, especially in the rain. It's a multiplying factor. As we say that, Edward Patella actually is heading out again with about 2.5 minutes to go just now for one last shot to get an improvement on his time. He's driving in the, if I see this correctly, in the Scuderia Italia. Oh no, sorry, the Dallara Automobili. A lot of different cars in this. Obviously, 1991 had about, well, more than 13 teams, I think, which is obviously quite interesting as well, because we've got a lot of different car models here, different liveries, but of course, because of a league mod, similar performance.
Yeah, every car on this grid, I think it's something like 17 teams out there. Obviously not out there in this session. People have picked the cars that they wanted. And of course, the sign-ups for this are still open, so if you are interested in taking part in a good old R Factor 1 series, head over to gpvwc.com/forum. and sign up there and have a nice little time. I'm hoping that this league will be a nice throwback to some of the RF1 days for these boys, but knowing how very difficult these cars are, I'm not sure what we can expect from the race. As I have noticed, as much as Pavel didn't improve, Pavel Loknovsky did actually. Tim Stroud being silly there and typing in game in the middle of a qualifying session, obviously very illegal. That's very silly. Congratulations, Mr. Straub.
Of course, he's a bit off the pace at the moment with 31 seconds behind the leader.
Well, that is quite hard. Sorry. We were discussing this, that he hasn't done very much practice and is hopefully not going to be very dangerous in the race, but you never know. But what I was going to say was Pavel Loknovsky, although he's not been very fast through the first sector this time, he actually, on his previous lap, set a purple final sector, did Pavel Loknovsky. He's in the final sector now, but this is going to be his last lap. As Menno Klont
goes up to second.
Wow.
With the Tyrrell Honda.
Yeah, that is fantastic. We'll watch what Pavel Loknovsky can do through this final section. He's very, very fast in the middle sector. He's coming through the final sector now as Pavel Loknovsky, currently in P5. Is he going to improve onto pole position? He comes out the final corner and to the line. Yes, he does.
Yes, he
33.586. Fantastic lap.
0.065 seconds in front of Choda. And the timer is on 0. So if Choda isn't on track, and he isn't, he can't do anything about it anymore.
No,
so unless
anyone
goes faster, Loknovsky has his pole position in the Ligier.
Absolutely, and what a great pole position it is for him. Randy Muru went up to 7th position. Obviously, someone who had some very good pace back in Formula Challenge at the previous round of Bahrain. Keep an eye on Menno Klont, who was pretty quick through the first sector, not too far off of Pavel Loknovsky. And he is
second
purple.
Sector also very
fast.
fast.
Yes, he's purple through the second sector, but makes a mistake. But he's going to try.
That will be interesting.
He's going to try and improve his time. I don't think this is going to be an improvement. He made too many mistakes coming out of that final corner. He comes towards the line. Is he going to improve? No, he doesn't. But still, I mean, he is showing that he's got some very nice pace. But yeah, just lost way too much time.
Oh my.
Dundu got very close to him there.
And one of the Jordans just almost hit him.
Yeah, it's David Young. Also, sorry, we missed this. Mike Quint goes up to 2nd.
Oh my. In the Lotus.
Yes, well done to him. Shout out. I honestly not seen his name before, but very good shout. Tom Parker and David Young also went up to 6th and 7th. But yes, Pavel Loknovsky is going to be on your pole position this evening on a 33.586. The thing is Mike Quint and Sandeep Choda behind are both less than a 10th off, and that is, as he's saying, his first pole position since 2011. So, welcome back to the front of the grid, Pavel.
And what a welcome back it is, especially in the rain at such a fast track in these cars.
Yes.
An absolutely smashing performance in qualifying so far.
Oh, smashing. Whilst we are in this session, we're going to be obviously going over into warm-up, which should be, I'm assuming, about 10 minutes. We'll quickly go through the calendar. It's a very short calendar, this one round a month, with the exception of August, which we're missing, due to it being the summer break. Every series, I believe, is off at August. But this is also the Storm Charge Vintage Series, which I totally forgot about. Silly old me. But we will be having the Imola Grand Prix, which we're at now, which will, in a month's time, be followed by Monte Carlo, which is one that I'm very concerned about. Then you go to Manicourt, Silverstone, Spa, which will be excellent, and that's when we take the summer break, and then we return to Monza, Suzuka, and we finish the season at another street circuit, being Adelaide, which will be hilarious.
An absolute classic right there in F1 in the 90s.
Absolutely. Obviously, GPVWC has actually run Adelaide fairly recently in the Master Series. Of course, it's more of the modern build, and in Audi TT. It's very, very different to these, I've been told. But yeah, it's a fantastic circuit, Adelaide. It's actually, to be honest, really good calendar. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen across this season. Um, but it's some of these guys um, being back in RF1. It's so weird, for mostly for the guys that have been in RF2. I mean, I drove this recently. Obviously, you were discussing with me signing up for this league. My response was no, not in a million years, because the game feels so distant for me in comparison to RF2. Do you think that's going to affect some of these drivers that have obviously been driving RF2 recently, like Menno Clont, Tom Parker, David Junt, and so on?
It might be. Well, it is up to their adaptation abilities. Well, the older force feedback, of course, and the handling of this, because whether you believe it or not, it's a huge difference. Whether it is Automobilista, which has recently come out, or Game Stocker Extreme, or R Factor 2, of course, or even iRacing, it is a huge handling difference with the cars. It's a huge feeling difference with the force feedback. And I personally, I wanted to sign up for this league as well, but I don't believe I would have done that well either because of the huge difference of the handling.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing to get back into. I mean, it actually reminds me of the reasons why I wanted to leave R Factor 1 pretty quick, because it is so distant. It's just so different, really. But some of these guys can adapt very, very quickly, especially the guys that will jump between, say, R Factor 2, Assetto Corsa, onto iRacing. You know, they can jump around all of them. They won't struggle with hopping over at all, really. As I have joined to see which people are going to be starting on the wet tyres. Of course, with the rain in the area, we are expecting a wet start. But if it does dry up a bit more, there's going to be that little niggling feeling in some people's minds, you know, just sitting there going, oh, do I start on the slicks? Very, very tricky decision. But with it being RF1 as opposed to RF2, the weather is very, very different on how it acts. Because in RF1, you can actually get away with running fairly low wings. Now, this mod has not really been used in the wet, as far as I'm aware. I don't think it was wet built. I'm pretty sure that's what Mr. Chris Williamson has put in a lot of work, a lot of time and effort on making sure that these cars are right. So yes, it's I can't even imagine how difficult it is to be out there in the wet in these cars.
Yeah, we can see the cars all over the circuit sliding and just trying to get the line right. Especially these cars, of course, have bigger rear wings than the cars nowadays, so we might expect some dirty air action as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it looks fun though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
sliding it over the corners and stuff like that. It looks like a bit of a laugh. I am pretty sure, though, that one thing we are going to see, and it's not something that I really want to say that we're going to see, but I am absolutely sure we are, is a crash on the start. I would be amazed if we have a clean start. Not only are we dealing with tricky conditions here, we're dealing with very, very powerful cars with no launch control or anything like that. You've got to start these bad boys on the clutch. And they are not easy things to get off the line. So, yeah, I'd suspect we're going to see a slight crash here. But we can hope. Put faith in the grid, shall we?
yeah.
But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
What I'm actually already wondering about, at the moment we've got 19 cars ready for the race. All drivers obviously mentally and physically and everything prepared for this challenge. What I'm wondering about is how many cars will we have at Monaco and at Adelaide, for example, because obviously a lot less space to run off here.
Yeah.
If we use the old version of Monaco, of course the first corner will be a lot thinner as well. There's no chance to evade there.
Yeah, I wonder if the actual build of Monaco we'll use will be the one that we've used in GPVWC previously. Of course, a lot of the tracks that we are running this season, in fact, all of them with the exception of Adelaide, which depends on which build of Adelaide we'll be running, all have been run in GPVWC with the wet weather adjustment. Again, dependent on which version of Monaco we use. But I'm fairly certain we would use the one that was used in Formula Challenge or generally across the career ladder. I don't know why I said Formula Challenge, but generally across the career ladder last season. Manicourt hasn't been run for years, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Williamson has them just all lying around somewhere. He's very resourceful, is Chris. As we have 4 minutes to go of this session, and I would ask who your pick for the win will be, but I'm not even sure that you'd know. My personal idea of who I think will win this race, provided he doesn't make a mistake. I distinctly remember him doing one at Austria in 2013. Would be Pavel Oknowski. He crashed in the pit lane entrance back in 2013. But I would suspect Pavel was going to be pretty quick, maybe a bit tough to beat in tonight's race. 47 laps ahead of you. Should be. I'm suspecting it will be just over an hour, just under like an hour and 10 minutes, around that kind of area will be tonight's race. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see some good battling. I hope the Dirty Air's not too big a thing in this. Of course, we've seen Formula Challenge and Super Cup and Super League less so, but we've seen those really, really struggle with Dirty Air. Oh my! What have you seen, Mr. Hillebrand?
We've got this, of course, this anti-cut here in the Tembrella chicane, and of course, it launches cars quite a bit if they hit it. Yes. So I'm wondering if there will be any trouble regarding that in the first corner, which I certainly do not hope.
Yeah, as long as people are pretty smart here, they shouldn't be touching the anti-cuts. They are there for a reason. Of course, the track limits do follow what it is in the current career ladder and all that, which has changed since the last time we were on RF1, which is you must keep 2 wheels on the white lines. So the white lines define the track limits. You must keep 2 wheels on or within that at all times. So track limits are different to where it was the curbs the last time these boys ran RF1. So we'll see who actually keeps up with all of that. But we're hoping that this will be a fairly competitive league throughout. But Pavel Oknowski is looking very, very fast at the moment. I'm very interested to see Sandeep, though, because Sandeep's not raced for a little while. Although neither is Pavel. But those two, they're so fast. They've been so fast over the career ladder over the last few years, the rounds they've done. So, and Sandeep's been figuring out things so quickly. So I'd suspect Sandeep will be definitely fighting for a podium position tonight.
What I'm actually quite interested in is if there's quite a lot of teams actually who have a teammate here, for example the 2 Bennettons or the 2 Ligiers, will those teams maybe use a bit of team tactics if it comes to battles for the lead or position or points?
Yeah,
because it could be, for example, that the Bennettons help each other out and could maybe get a 1-2 out of this, just hypothetically.
Absolutely. That's a point that I've not even thought about, because of course a lot of these drivers won't actually have teammates. One that even you pointed out prior to the race is that Kasper Kolodavic is not here, and he was going to be Christoph Lichtenstein's teammate. Just an example as to one that's not actually here this evening. The points are very different to normal GPVWC. I'll go through those in a minute. But I'm looking for those that actually have 2 people here.
We've got the 2 Bennettons, we've got the Ligiers.
2 Ligiers, yeah, 2 Ligiers.
I do believe we have the 2 Tyrrells, yes?
Yeah, have we got... I don't even know what else ones we have. It's really not many. But yes, we'll see how that rolls out as the season progresses with people appearing in various teams. I don't think the Teams Championship's too much on some of these people's minds, but it is always a nice thing to have.
We've also got the 2 late nows of Tom Parker and
who's the other late nows?
Janne Van Anen.
Oh, Janne Van Anen, right, okay, yeah. It's fair enough seeing those 2 as teammates, cool. The points as the grid is being set, I'll very quickly explain once I can get them up on my screen. Basically, it's 50 points for taking a win, 40 points for second, 35, 32, 30, 28, 26, 24, 22, 20, and then it's down 1 after that. That's all the way down to top 10. And it will go down to 5 points, which will be for 25th, and then anyone between 25th and 30th scores 5 points. I'm pretty sure that is the same point system that we had for, I think it's for the Atlantic Series last year. Not 100% sure, because I really didn't take part in that for very long. I will go double check that, just to make sure. No, it's not. Nope, that's World GT that I'm looking at. God damn it. Yes, I was right. It is that. Exactly. It's the same point system as was in the Atlantic Series, at least according to the wiki. So 50 points for a win. No points for pole position. We don't do bonus points in GPVWC. But yes, I'm wondering who will be taking the full 50 points for this evening's action. We will be getting ready to go into the race very shortly, and most importantly, seeing what those conditions are going to be like.
As Tom Parker has just before the race started pointed out, the cars can break quite easily, so suspension failure and complete losing a wheel is very easy in this. So you just have to miss a braking point and it could be over. And this is 47 laps, so it will be quite a tense race. Now all drivers hopefully moving to the grid.
Yeah, of course. As you say, as Tom Parker said, that the cars are quite fragile. This will be very difficult across the race, not just with suspension and stuff like that, but even with brake wear and all that kind of stuff. We will be there is allowed pit stops here for tyre changes and apparently fuel. I'm not sure what the time is on either of those, but you can actually fill the tank up quite far. What was that, Nick?
Yeah, it's the formation lap starting, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is 26% of rain about, but coming through the Temporello chicane is Pavel Nowski on pole position for Ligier Lamborghini, which is great for them. But then it's Mike Quint in second place. Fantastic result. I honestly, he's a driver that I really do not know what's going to do. I've not seen that driver about at all. So hopefully some very serious pace towards the front of this grid. Of course, maybe a bit thrown up with the wet qualifying session, but either way, in third position is Sandeep Choda, followed by Menno Klont, Timu Toika, Tom Parker, David Yunt in seventh position, Ranu Muru in eighth, Yanni Vananen in ninth. It's looking pretty good for Leighton House, considering they're sixth and ninth. And then it's Edouard Batala in 10th position. Then it's Gerard Battle, which is two drivers I always got confused in Formula Challenge. In 11th, Christoph Lichtenstein, your 2010, I believe it was. I can't even remember these days. 2010 Super Cup champion, I believe, is Christoph Lichtenstein. Therefore, Ferrari. Then it's Francis Cabrera in 13th position. Aki Paratallo in 14th. That's an amazing name. I really like that. Eric Stanford in 15th. Florian Engel in 16th. Michael Dammer in 17th. Tim Straub in 18th.
And Joshua Anderson in 19th, who's starting from the pits,
lane,
apparently.
Yes, pit
in
lane.
the Williams Renault.
Yeah, it's everyone is on wet tyres in a shocking turn of events. I wonder what Anderson's going to do from pit lane. If he keeps it clean, he'll be able to get to the end and score some nice points. Of course, points just for finishing in this league, in this series at the moment. So that should just be the goal, as people are going to be lining up now.
At the moment, you still get 11 points if you finish, so...
Absolutely. It's Tim Straub's crashed on the way to the grid. Fantastic job.
Oh my.
He's going to have to line himself up here. This is not a great start to his return to GPVWC.
He hasn't really lost anything, though, hopefully.
No,
so.
but his nose will be a bit damaged, and he might lose some fuel from his fuel tank. Am I right, James Kirk? Either way, everyone is lined up on the grid.
And 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's go, go, go at Imola. Let's go, racing boys.
Yeah,
and we've got a car in the gravel.
This is not too much of a surprise, although, credit to them, much cleaner start than previous as they're 3 wide back in the pack as Paratello and Christoph Lichtenstein. Oh, there's contact and Paratello nearly rolled. Oh, that was close. But he is off into the gravel trap on the exit of T1. Sandeep Choda not having a great start, down in 9th position. He is being boxed in a little bit by Yanni Vananen, trying to find his way back into Villeneuve, gets up into 8th position and gets that job done. Currently, though, Edouard Batala's... Oh, he's out of the race. That's why Edouard Batala's not actually leading the race. He's just out. Pavlovsky, though, is in your leading position, followed by Mike Quint. Menno Klontz moved up into a podium position, followed by David Junt, Tom Parker, Ranu Muru, who is under heavy attack here from Sandeep Choda. A little bit of contact there as Ranu Muru clips that anti-cut. But Sandeep Choda gets past and up, back into the top 6 already. He is making some very serious progress up through this field. Ranu Muru, though, in 7th position. Yanni Vananen in 8th. Gerhard Battle in 9th. And Christoph Lichtenstein rounding out your top 10.
Jordan spinning out of Macro Minerale, and Timo Teuker, who spun into the gravel at the start, just barely misses him, working his way up the order again.
Yeah, expect Timo Teuker to be close towards the front soon. He's really struggling with the rear of the car there. But yeah, Timo will definitely be towards the front towards the end of the race. Currently running in 12th position. As Pavel Oknovsky is coming around to complete the first lap of the race, has already got a decent margin over Menno Klont. In fact, yes, 1.2 seconds. We will see Edouard Batala move back down the order once they've completed this lap. Don't worry, that is just a glitch, if you can see that on screen. So don't worry about that. But it is currently 1.2 second lead for Pavel Oknovsky over Menno Klont. These two from veterans of the Super Cup series. As there you go, Pavel Oknovsky. They're all moving back up now, which is
right.
Good for them.
Oh my, and very close at the Villeneuve chicane. Between Vananen and Battle.
Oh, sorry. Menno Klont and Pavel Oknovsky side by side coming out of the... Wow!
Oh my!
Menno Klont's going into the lead.
And they're side by side coming up to... What place is
Paratella.
that again?
Paratella, yeah. But yeah, Pavel Oknovsky holds that one around the outside coming down to Macro Minerale. So that is going to mean that Pavel Oknovsky retakes the lead here at San Marino. But he is definitely struggling with that car. Here comes Menno Klont. Almost a little bit of contact there.
Aqua Minerale, very tricky section, of course, because very fast entry and very slow exit. It's very tricky, as Eric Stanford already has shown with his spin. But it's very tricky indeed. And this
David Junt's been round. David Junt has been round. Sorry to cut across you there. No. Very anti-alter.
Oh, don't worry about it.
In 10th position now is David Junt. He was running up in 4th position, has dropped down now into 10th, as they are all in a gaggle here for the top 5 as Cabrera goes down the inside of Vananen.
As well at the very anti-alter, now down in 12th place with his late nose.
Possible contact there between him and David Junt.
Might have been.
As David Junt is now trying to work his way back past Vananen and Cabrera.
Oh no, he has had contact with Battle, I think. Oh no, he spun off at the...
Oh, right.
At the anti-turb, so yeah.
David Junt is looking to get past both of these two and move himself up into 8th. He does do it. Is he going to be? He's on the wet side. As who's that off the circuit? That's Battle off the circuit.
Oh
now.
My!
He's going to rejoin just in front of David Junt. That's going to be dangerous.
And he moves aside barely there.
Yeah, that's
very good decision of him.
Ooh,
and
nearly squeezes Vananen there a little bit.
Already going side by side with him there, and Teuker right behind him in the Medina.
Oh no!
And Teuker goes off.
Tosa, yeah. Little mistake there from Timu, but he just needs to keep calm and get on with it. But
oh my, there's
again, very
also another car off. Vananen under acceleration into the grass there. Of course, you can easily get a lot of wheel spin in these cars.
Absolutely, rejoining them is very, very tricky. Your top 2, though, top 3, we'll go with top 3 because they're separated by 1.2 seconds is your battle for the lead. Pavel Oknovsky still leading by 6/10 over Menno Klont and Mike Quint. And Sandeep Choda looking to chow down on this gap. He has closed it down by 5/10 in that middle sector. Sandeep Choda is on an absolute mission in the Benetton Ford to catch up with this top 3 and get into the fight for the podium. And, of course, that win the first round. Sandeep Choda runs a little bit wide at the second to last turn and clips the anti-cut. Remember, they've got to be careful of these anti-cuts. They do send people to space.
Yes, they do.
As Pavel's has definitely opened it out in that final sector. But Pavel's made a mistake at the first chicane. He's gone straight on. Oh, this is going to be very tricky for him to hold the lead. Is Menno Klont going to take it coming into Villeneuve? I do not think so. Pavel Oknovsky kept enough speed over that chicane. He has lost an awful lot of time, though.
Mike Quint also not too far off there. So he's just lingering there like a hungry wolf, waiting for those two to make a mistake, and he'll be there. Oh my god, and with a really massive power slide out of the hairpin.
Wow, these conditions look very, very tricky. Just keep an eye on Sandeep Choda, though, who's now 2.7 seconds off the lead, and Menoclon's going for it now, coming down to Aqua Minerali. Menoclon is going to do it.
Did he get him? No, he doesn't have him yet, and Lognovsky's... Oh my dear God, this is very exciting.
Yeah, Menoclon is just... he's being a little...
And Choda went past Quint.
Quint's had a mistake there out of Aqua Minerali. Choda's made a mistake into Variante Alta, though. But
and they're right next to each other again, like right behind each other, sorry.
I think Menno, though, is being a little too kind.
And
that's a big mistake.
Goes right, and Menno's on the inside, and he's going through.
Finally does it.
Out of the last corner, and they're going on the front straight again.
Finally, Menoclon gets through into the lead, but look at his straight line speed.
Slipstream, and he's running. And he's just running past him.
Look at that straight line speed from Pavel Loknovsky into coming into the first chicane, coming into Tamburello chicane, back into the lead comfortably. He has got some seriously low wings on this. That's why Menoclon's catching so much through the corners and is having less problems
also
on the
wiggling
throttle.
Through the entire Tamburello chicane there.
Yeah.
You can just see how much they're struggling. Really great car control from these guys here.
Look who's catching, though. It is Sandeep Choda, 1.8 seconds behind through the first sector. He's now 1.3 seconds behind. He is closing so quickly. Sandeep Choda is looking like he definitely wants to be taking the win after a poor start to this Grand Prix. He's looking very, very strong on this fifth lap here.
Also, we have, I think, oh wait, okay. I think there's a battle for 8th, 9th and 10th at the moment. And, oh my! During our battle, the second Turl has just spun around at Tosa. And
he's in 12th place at the moment. Yeah, 12th now.
But Timo Tolka has come up to 8th place already, again.
Oh, Pavel Loknovsky's made him another mistake. Pavel Loknovsky's made another mistake. And that's going to cost him 2nd place as well if Sandeep can... I don't think Choda's actually going to get right on the back of him, though, but Pavel Loknovsky down to 2nd.
Tactics now for Choda, and Loknovsky now being very careful on the brakes, though, and oh my, that's very close for the last 2 corners here.
Absolutely, Sandeep, though, is going to be looking for a move coming down to the Tamburello chicane, and he is going to get that one done. He is running very similar wings, it seems, to Pavel Loknovsky, and through already. Pavel Loknovsky in 1 lap down from the lead, down to 3rd position. Menoclon, though, with a slight lead at this moment, but considering how fast Sandeep is, I don't know if he'll have it for very long.
As those boys are fighting at the top, we also got Timo Teuken now trying to overtake Christoph Lichtenstein into Tamburello, and he's on the outside. Can he make it stick? And he runs a bit wide and barely avoided that anti-cut, and is losing 8th place as well. Very good attempt, but sadly he lost it a bit there.
Yeah,
and
Sandeep.
Francis Cabrera also went past. And
Sandeep doing his classic thing of missing timing split, so he's dropping down the order, but don't worry about that, he'll be back up there shortly. Just point that one out.
Oh my.
It's a classic Sandeep thing, don't worry, he did this every time in Formula Challenge. He is right on the back of Menoclon, though, so keep an eye on this. Pavel Loknovsky, though, seeming to drop back more and more as this rain is actually lightening now. And the thing is if Pavel is running the lower wings, this will start to come into Loknovsky's favour towards the drying section of this race. So keep an eye on Loknovsky as this race dries out.
And Lichtenstein makes a quite mistake into Alta, Viranta.
Cabrera's going to have a move here.
Right up his gearbox and his diffuser there.
Ooh.
So we're going down side by side to Rivasa now. And I think he backs out a bit again, but also Timo Teuka back there. And oh my! And
Timo
just spun
Teuka spun, yeah, too much torque there, too much power. As the 2 teammates at Leighton House go past 9th and 10th for Tom Parker and Yanni Vananen. Tom Parker taking it very carefully, but is working his way slowly back up the order. But yeah, Cabrera's going to have this move done on Lichtenstein down to the Tamburello chicane. Oh, he looks no cigar. Cabrera's very, very fast in the straight line, though, in his Benetton Ford, so keep an eye on him. Of course, teammate to Sandeep Choda in this series, and he is looking to move himself even further up this top 10. as Liechtenstein has made a big mistake there
and
into field
is he
now.
going to hit the wall there? And,
Yes!
my, and he
he's
lost
a
the rear wheel. That's the DNF, sadly.
Yeah, Liechtenstein
Ah.
there, out of this race. We do know how easily these cars are to damage, but that is his day done.
And the 28 Ferrari is out. It is just so quick that something can go wrong, and it's very fundamentally. Also, Sandeep showed as
It's into the lead, yes. But Menno Klont's looking to fight back here.
Oh my god, and also, again, with the wheel spin, my god.
Yeah, these guys are struggling in these conditions, but Sandeep Choda into the lead. I was curious as to his pace. Very, very quick. Driver is Mr. Choda, but... Oh, look at that slide from Menno Klont there. Menno Klont does know how to drive consistently in these conditions, and his consistency is what has given him, what gave him the lead, what is giving him currently podium potential. But look at how fast Sandeep Choda is pulling away on a straight. That is some very, very strong straight line speed from Benetton Ford.
And Tom Parker goes around in the late nows and lets his teammate pass.
Oh, everyone's spinning. Again, these conditions very, very tricky, but it is drying up. It has actually stopped raining now.
Oh my, this is going to be very interesting now when the people switch to the dry tyres.
Exactly. They'll also take their fuel on to get them towards the end of the race if they aren't on full fuel already.
What is that? I think that's Tim Straub being lapped. Yes, it is.
It is Tim Straub being lapped, which is already happening 7 laps into this race. Never mind, he will be lapped quite a few times as Tim Straub's gone off the circuit. He's going to rejoin near Tom Parker, but doesn't rejoin straight into the racing line.
So we've got 7 laps done, and we've got 4 DNFs so far. So 15 cars still in the race.
That's actually better than I thought it was going to be, to be honest. Not going to lie.
Well, we didn't have any huge offs so far, and luckily no huge accidents. And we actually still got... Maybe we have a team in-turn fight here with the 2 late nows in 8th and 9th.
Yanni Vananen runs wide there out of... I'm forgetting all the corners. Out of the Aqua Minerale. God. But Tom Parker is closing. I know how fast Tom Parker is. Of course, Tom Parker, having won a few races in GPVWC, I think it's actually only 3. His first win in WSS in 2013 in these conditions.
Again.
Interesting. That's that straight line speed working for him.
And he's broken a bit late for this, so. And struggling, so side by side again.
Yeah, but watch the straight line speed. Here he goes.
Can he make it stick though?
Boom! Look at that
my
straight line speed from Luknovsky. Another mistake in the field now, but it's that straight line speed. It's so powerful. It's
a classic battle between setups, isn't it?
Yeah, back in Formula Challenge, I distinctly remember at Suzuka there was this discussion of running high wings or low wings as Menno Klont makes a mistake coming at Tosa. That has cost him an awful lot of time and puts Mike Quint in contention of taking that podium position away. But back in Suzuka in the wet conditions, the race was actually won on a low downforce setup in the wet weather just because the straight line speed advantage is insane and you can't overtake as easily through the corners. So running a low downforce setup is actually hugely beneficial here in R-Factor 1 in wet conditions, as Menno Klont has got an awful lot of pressure here from Mike Quint in the Lotus Judd.
What's another interesting thing here is we might have a battle for 7th place soon, as the 2 late nows are catching the Benetton.
Oh, that was a big moment there from Mike Quint coming into through turn 13. He actually just clipped the curb a little bit as he was trying to get round Menno Klont, but
we've got Eric Stafford already pitting. That's a bit early, isn't it? Or could it be that he's already going to try the gamble on dry tyres?
I don't think it's... he is on dry tyres, I can confirm that. He has gone onto the dry compound tyres, actually gone a lap down. This is far too early for dry tyres, though. We need it to come down at least another 10%. This is too early. I will say Sandeep Choda actually set the fastest lap of the race on that previous lap and is starting to pull that gap over Pavel Luknovsky. His fastest lap being a 33.4.
And Quint also closing the gap on Menno Klont. And also we've got Cabrera making a slight mistake. What? Tom Parker's out!
Oh, what happened to Tom Parker?
I think he just crashed. Yeah, he crashed at the Tamburello chicane. And he just lost it, and everyone lost it there. What happened there?
Well, I don't even know. I'm lost. Either
we
way,
had,
Tom Parker is out
we had
of this
Cabrera,
Grand Prix.
Stanford, and Parker go off there, and Parker got the worst of it. Stanford,
Yeah, of course.
Stanford might have instantly realised his failed decision
Mistake. Yeah,
to
yeah,
go
yeah.
on. Well, this is absolutely stunning. Parker's just instantly out.
Yeah, it is too early though to go on to these slick tyres. But a lot of people will be finding a bit of comfort on the wets. The wets will last a fair while, as I will confirm. That
His
Pavloknovsky,
teammate fighting against Cabrera now.
yeah, Pavloknovsky
And
though.
then
Oh,
side by
yes,
side,
yes,
coming
yes.
down to Rivasa, and he's passed. But will Cabrera make it counter? No, he doesn't. He backs off for now. Although he wants to go on safely for now. Oh my god, and as Van Anen just has a huge, almost spin there, but kept it very nicely together there.
I thought Van Anen was coming in the pit lane then, how shallow a line he took.
And Quint very close behind
He absolutely
Menno
is.
now.
That's a slight mistake from Menno Klon.
Side by side up to Ferratella.
I think Quint's got this.
Oh,
Menno's going to try the outside.
Klon's
It's not
backing
going to
up.
work. It's not going to
Oh
work.
my.
Quint gets past. Quint up there into third position. Ahead now of Menno Klont into a podium position. I will say on the previous lap that Pavel Loknovsky actually set the fastest lap of the race to try and close down on this gap to Sandeep Choda. As I said, these drying conditions will be helping Loknovsky and those low wings, but Sandeep Choda is setting some very, very nice sectors at the moment. He went purple in the first sector and had a very nice second sector.
Just a huge slide there, and
Cabrera's passed.
back through.
Whoa, that was a feisty little move as Van Anen nearly clouted the back of Cabrera. That was close.
Dear me. And Stanford is actually behind Tim Straub now.
Interesting. That would be because he had to pit again, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah, Zanny Choda sets the fastest lap of the race now.
We can actually see on the track slowly, though, I think, the drying racing line.
Yeah. Yeah, it is absolutely becoming visible. It's almost, we're getting very close to that point where slick tyres will be good. It's 21% online, of course. The general rule of thumb is around 15% generally would be where you'd hop off of wet tyres onto slicks.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe a bit lower than that, but that's a general rule of thumb. 5.1 seconds is your lead gap, though. Sandeep Choda is continuing to assert his domination on this field and setting some very feisty sector times. It's actually Mike Quint is the person that has set the fastest first sector on his bid to try and catch down Pavel Loknovsky and move himself up into second position, of course, where he actually qualified in this Grand Prix.
We spoke about team tactics earlier, and I don't think we'll see any of those in any time soon.
Not anymore, no.
Leighton House lost one of his cars,
I
and
think Benetton's the only one with two, isn't it?
Benetton, Tyrrell, and
Tyrrell.
I think Jordan as well. Even though Eric Stanford is one lap down.
Oh yeah.
Stanford tried to cool his tires there by staying on the wet line, I think, because obviously it's and he's another off.
He's still on the dry tyres, actually, is Stanford. I'm very confused as to why he would be on the wet line. Maybe. Oh.
I think it's quite a gamble on this as well, because if you stay too long on the wet tyres, you're going to overheat them and instantly lose a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because they'll instantly lose a lot of grip once they overheat it, and I think that can happen pretty quickly here. But
Absolutely.
if you go to the dry tyres too early, as demonstrated by Eric Stanford. Oh, and actually, Joshua Anderson is one lap down as well already.
4 people are lap down at this point. Yeah, Florian Engel as well.
Did Anderson already pit? Or I think he did just now.
All 4 people that are a lap down have pitted at least once. Eric Stanford is now 2 laps down as he's made a mistake at Aqua Minerale. Of course, still struggling on those.
We've got Engel versus Anderson, though. Right behind each other.
Yeah, Engel, of course. Engel actually made a mistake out of the Tamburello chicane and clipped the wall slightly, but not too aggressively on the left-hand side But now Anderson is
Oh, and
all over the rear
Shoda
end.
spins off at Rivasa.
Whoa.
Oh, and he lost quite a lot of time there.
He
and
has
we've got
Lognovsky right
with
in the
his
back.
straight line speed now right behind him. Could he make the move here?
No, I think Choda's got a good straight line speed as well. In fact, Choda's is very, very similar on my readout. So these two running similar wings.
Creeping up a bit there, though.
Does be a bit of the old draft.
Yeah. Coming close in the braking zone as well. Trying
all
to make the
Lognovsky
best through
needs
this.
is to know that he is under pressure. Lognovsky actually set his personal best lap of the race, which is only a little tiny, incy-wincy little bit off of the fastest lap of the race. So Lognovsky's got pace. Lognovsky is closing, of course, starting this race from pole position. And he is looking feisty now. Tim Straub is out of the race.
And Eric Stanford has just lost it on the front straight.
Yeah.
And as he spins around, and as people go past, it was late now.
Oh, David Yunt out!
Benetton.
David Yunt is out of this race. David Yunt had a crash as...
Oh my, he lost both his front tyres.
Yeah, but who was it that was spinning? Who was it that was spinning in front of him? Oh, it was Tim Straub that was spinning in front of him.
Oh my!
And so, that
must have been... Tim Straub has been entering the pits.
Battle for the lead.
Underestimated the wheel spin, and oh my.
We've got, Pavel Lognovsky right on the back of Sandeep Choda. These two are very, very close. But, we'll get to the Tim Straub thing. I personally think he should have raced based on his amount of practice. But Pavel Lognovsky right on the back. The problem is that Sandeep Choda runs slightly wide at Rivasa, but Pavel Lognovsky's not going to get on the inside. The problem with R Factor 1 and its drying line, which you will see coming up into the second to last turn and stuff like that, is that it does go a little bit wibbly and all over the place as Pavel Lognovsky's looking to take back the lead here on the end of lap 14. They're going to be side by side coming up to the Tamburello chicane as Sandeep Choda's got the inside line and Sandeep Choda has got it nicely stuck, but he's braking on the wet stuff. Is it going to be too much? I think so. This is going to be difficult in Villeneuve for Sandeep Choda to keep this lead in front of Pavel Lognovsky. As here he comes, Mike Quint set the fastest lap of the race in P3, so he's closing down this gap very quickly. And Menno Clont is setting good times behind him. 5.8 seconds off is Menno Clont. So we do realistically have a four-way battle for this win. Lots going on. But yeah, Tim Straub, that was it's a shame for David Yunt. David Yunt also running up in a fairly good position and unfortunately cost by that mistake for Tim Straub. But
yeah, just underestimated the wheel spin there and spun right in front of him. Sadly, Yunt had no chance of avoiding that there.
This is interesting that I've noticed is that Teemu Toika has actually been into the pit lane and back out, and he is on the dry tyres. Now, this is at 12%. So as long as you can keep it on that dry line, you can actually set some really good sectors here as he's going to get past Stanford.
Yeah, going to lap him there.
But yeah, there we go. Teemu Toika past. But... yeah, there's the dry line, which is now unfortunately it does wobble around a bit, which you will see into these into Rivasa, but you've just got to stay on that dry line on the dry tyres, of course, and you can set some good pace. So this will be good information for these top guys to know that slick tyres are definitely coming into contention here.
Another thing to be noted is that obviously this is 1991, so we've got different engine formulas. This is not just a single one. We've got V12s, V10s and V8s, and you can hear that from the difference of the sound of the cars as well. So very sadly, one of the very iconic cars, of course, of this era with the Ferrari V12 is obviously the Ferrari, which we don't have in the race anymore. And, oh, we just had Eric Stanford into the wall again. And he's struggling to get out of the... oh my... and he just lost his rear wing.
This is interesting stuff from Stanford, as he'll try and get back round and continue to the end of this race, but this is going to be very, very difficult.
Without a rear wing, especially.
Yeah, for the Englishmen, especially in these conditions, as Pavel Lognovsky's still trying to keep Sandeep under pressure as Teemu Toika, off at the Rivasa. And he's going to be rejoining just a little bit. Now he's going to keep it off the track until Quint and Clont have gone past. It's quite difficult seeing an M Quint and an M Clont near each other on track. But those two get past Quintin, though, setting some very nice sectors. That actually currently holds the fastest lap of the race. But that has actually just been reset by the two people in front. First, Sandeep Choda sets the fastest lap, and then Pavel Loknovsky sets the fastest lap. So Loknovsky's realistically the faster man at the moment. Quint, though, does have a purple first sector and a purple second sector. So Quint's got some serious pace to catch up with these top two. But it seems
definitely.
like the consistency just isn't quite there, and the gap may be just a little bit too big to manage at this early point in the race.
Joshua Anderson is going into pits in 10th place. Also, which we haven't noticed before, is actually we've got another team with two cars on the track, which is Williams, with Rano Muru and Joshua Anderson. The number 5 and 6 cars, as Florian Engel goes by Joshua Anderson in the pits to take 10th place. And Timo Tolka is out.
Yeah, maybe he's realising his mistake of moving to the slick tyres, and it just wasn't enough. He actually moved back onto the wets, but yeah, he is out of the race.
Yeah,
Rani Muru is on the rise as
he had
well.
an accident at Tosa, just spun off in the middle of it, tried to spin it around, and yeah, just hitting the tyre wall there, losing his front left tyre and front wing. So this race is over for him as well, sadly.
Yeah, everyone on the wet tyres, with the exclusion of Eric Stanford, who does return to the pit lane, Joshua Anderson, who's on the slick tyres, and his teammate, the other Williams driver, being Rani Muru, also on the slick tyres. Rani Muru is actually the last man on the lead lap. Everyone else is on wets. And yeah, I'm not really sure what else is happening on track. We've got some pretty big gaps now, but we have got this nice battle for the lead. 30 laps to go here at Imola.
Also quite interesting is we've got first and second place battling, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, and seventh and eighth.
Cabrera into the pits in 6th position.
Oh, there we go. So finally Bennett making their move here. So probably Sandeep coming in later on. Battle going past there, just so does Muru as well, and yeah, this is gonna scramble the field through well as well. So Loknovsky quite close for pace, quite close for gap as well.
Yes,
going now through Revaza and going to the straight now. This will be interesting with straight line speed.
Yeah, just a note quickly on Cabrera, who came into the pit lane. He actually remains on the wet tyres, but yes, Loknovsky and Choda side by side. That's very close to the wall for Loknovsky, but I don't think he's got enough straight line speed to get past Choda here.
Choda actually has more straight line speed than him. That means he's running even lower downforce.
Oh, look at the slides through Tamburello for Sandeep Choda.
Great example of car control there.
Absolutely.
And acceleration there.
Mike Quint behind will... Menno Clont. Menno Clont's out of the race.
Has blown his engine!
Where did... that was quite a while ago. We're just a bit blind. I think he was just running not enough radiator.
It might be.
Because
I think
it was on a straight...
He's just blown his engine.
It was on a straight, yeah, just not running enough radiator there for Menno Clont in the Tyrrell Honda. Honda being unreliable. Who'd have thought? But yeah, we still have this three-way fight for the lead as Pavel Loknovsky's right on the back of Sandeep Choda. As I said, Mike Quint will be hoping that these two do doss it out for the next few laps, because that will allow him to catch right back up as Sandeep Choda's lagging a little bit there. But it's okay. It's just an interesting sideways line into that chicane.
Yeah, really massive Shane. Klomp just blew his engine right out of the Variante Alta. A lot of wheel spin, trying to get a lot of speed out of there, and then just blew his engine.
Yeah.
Suddenly black smoke coming out of the Honda engine, so that's a shame there.
Loknovsky just needs to remain behind. I will also say it is actually raining more now. The rain is getting slightly heavier. We're at 12% on the rain now. But Loknovsky kind of needs to just stay behind Choda at the moment and just try and force Choda into a mistake. As well, if Choda forced Loknovsky into a mistake, I would have been caught out by that as well. Just kind of lagged back on track a little bit. did Sandeep Choda, and that's pushed Loknovsky off the circuit.
Oh my. And as Klont DNF's, Battle has actually moved up to 5th place so far. And he might be... Oh my, and as he makes a mistake at the corner where his teammate blew his engine, if he keeps up a bit of consistency, and I think it started raining again.
Yeah. As I said, it's raining a little bit now. We're up to 19% now. It is getting heavier and heavier.
My God, this is quite a race we're having so far. So
absolutely, as Loknovsky to Acro Minerale, but with it being good old RF1, you can make a little mistake like that, touch the grass, and it's all good.
Now the leader's lapping Florian Engel in the Minardi.
Four seconds separates your top
Oh
your
my,
top
and
three.
there's another car in the gravel at the Vilna chicane.
Which one's this?
I think that was... Yeah, that was Josh Anderson as he spins it through Tosa as well. Just didn't expect the rain to come down this heavily, and is he stuck in the gravel? I hope not.
No.
Ah, good.
We do have Eric Stanford still on the slick tyres. He needs to get into the pit lane soon. We also have Rainy Muru still on the slick tyres. I don't know why Rainy Muru's not pitted yet. He comes around to lap his teammate. Yeah, he's on the slick tyres. It's too wet for him at the moment. I guess he just doesn't want to pit again, but that is a mistake to maker. He needs to be in the pit lane now, does the Williams driver.
Oh, Quint has been in the pits.
Right, welcome back to the Grand Prix here at Imola San Marino Grand Prix. You rejoin us as Mike Quint has actually been through the pit lane, returned on the wet tyres, as we have a fair way to go in this race. Just some technical issues with a disconnection that meant we left you there, but we are back, and Sandeep Choda retains his lead. As the rain keeps coming down heavier and heavier. It is actually lightening up just a little bit now, but just not enough.
Choda's just extending his lead a bit as well.
Yeah,
Loknovsky now dropped to 3 seconds. Sorry for interrupting you there.
No. Loknovsky's struggling in these wet conditions. He did obviously earlier on in the race. which is odd considering that Sandeep actually has lower wings. Evidently, he's got a better suspension setup on that in the Benetton Ford. But yeah, Loknovsky's just not comfortable in these wet conditions. I think Choda have maybe got a bit more experience in the mixed to wet conditions here in RF1.
Engel just letting past fellow racer there, Muru, into Tosa.
I'm not sure what these tyres are like fresh on, but Quint seeming like he's struggling for pace a little bit.
Definitely does.
Ooh.
And if he doesn't hurry up, he might get caught by Vananen, the remaining Leightonhouse car, which is catching up right now.
Yeah, Yanni Vananen. He's shown flashes of pace over his GPVWC career, and running in this fourth position, he's looking like he's got the pace to get up there and fight with Quint, but that's mainly down to Quint's struggles. He was quite a long way off in that first sector as Sandeep Choda actually set his personal best lap of the race to extend that gap to 3.1 seconds.
And it's just not Stanford's day today, I think. Just keeps on making mistakes. Of course, it's difficult out here. I think he just lost his groove a little bit and trying to find his way back in. And now he's actually gone past Klont, who has DNF'd at that part of the track just before Revasa. And he's letting through Quint, who's in third place still.
Yeah, very tricky conditions out there. It's why we've only got 10 runners remaining on the field.
Did Choda and Luknovsky actually pit yet? This is what I want to know.
I can tell you no one has pitted. No. Of the people on the lead lap, rather. We have Cabrera, who's actually pitted, and we have Mike Quint, who has pitted. Other than that, no one else has pitted. There is no forced pit stop here. So it is actually possible, legitimately possible, that Loknovsky and Choda would have, for example, filled the tank and are actually just going out and going to go to the end of the race as Sandeep Choda comes up to lap his teammate. Oh,
they're
God.
side by side, the two Benettons. Great display there, the number 20 and the number 19.
Yeah, I was
driven
just
back
a bit...
then by Michael Schumacher and Nelson Piquet.
Yeah, I was just a bit scared there with what with what Cabrera is going to do. That leaves 5 cars on the lead lap, being Sandeep Choda, Pavel Loknovsky, Mike Quint, Yanni Vananen, and Gerard Battle. Your remaining runners outside of that is Cabrera, Muru, Engel, Anderson, and Stanford. Stanford, though, 5 laps down as Cabrera has blown his engine in 6th position.
Oh my! That's
Loknovsky
quite a
goes
shame.
past. That is
So
quite
now
an
we've-
explosion.
I think now we don't have any teammates at all left.
No, that will sort. Oh, we've got the Williams boys.
Yeah, Williams!
Although you say that just as Anderson makes a mistake.
Oh!
Can we go up to Tosa? But Anderson in 9th position. He will go up to 8th eventually. But that is a shame there for Cabrera.
It's just like back in the old days, so.
Blowing up engines and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, we're playing about modern Formula One reliability. These boys. This is something that I was very curious of. The engines are quite fragile. As oh no, I thought I had Quint's car spluttering. Sounds alright actually, but it's these cars are very, very fragile, and you need to look after them through things like setups, through brake disc management and stuff like that. If we were starting the season at Melbourne, I'd expect to see quite a few people having brake issues in these cars because they are very, very sensitive to brake heat and, of course, engine heat. So you need to have that management. And obviously, some of these boys showing that they've not done enough practice, really.
And Battle has now pitted, coming out again with a Tyrrell in 5th place.
Leaving 4 cars on the lead lap. I'm just curious as to if and when Sandeep Choda and Pavel Loknovsky are going to choose to enter the pit lane. As Loknovsky had an awful first sector. He actually lost an entire second there in that
What I'm
first
quite
section. So it's
interested in though
4
is
seconds.
if they had a full tank and they're gonna go until the end, they have shown quite some driving then, because obviously with full tank these cars are a lot heavier compared to their competition then.
It would make sense as to why Sandeep's start was so poor in comparison to the rest
Yeah.
of the field, and why he dropped back so far. So,
And
yeah,
Alex Stanford has finally completely thrown it away, sadly.
oh,
Coming out
no.
right out of Reversa, and he
He's
lost
got
both
no
his front tires there.
I mean, he's still trying to go, but unfortunately,
that's-
he can't get down pit lane. There is a severe lack of the ability to steer.
Yeah.
He's still trying though. Credit to him. Go on, slap
Not
it in
giving
reverse.
up,
Go on,
not
slap it
giving
in
up.
reverse. Oh,
And he's trying it!
he's go on. Oh no, don't. Oh,
The Jordan! He's trying it!
oh, this will be amazing if he actually gets this to work.
Oh my,
Oh, he's going to try and bounce it off the wall.
And
Oh,
he's making
he's
it!
never going to get into his pit box though. He is never going to get into his pit box.
If he
Never in a
makes this.
million years is this going to work.
Trying
Oh.
to make it work. Oh! He's in the slow lane!
Oh, this is just not going to work.
Oh, if he...
Hero though, for keep on going.
It's just like back in the 12 Hours of Sebring, the flatline 313 car,
Yeah.
DTM, who had quite a series of incidents. Is he gonna try and make it back in reverse as well?
I think he's very close to his box now. This is thrilling action here that we are commentating on. Unfortunately, there's not really much more action going on, so we will keep an eye on Mr. Stanford, who is. Oh,
He's actually
oh.
making it. Oh, could he be making it?
I don't think he's going to be able. I don't think he's going to be able to. There's no way he's going to be able to get into his pit box properly. Also, I'm not going to lie, his engine is going to go bang soon.
That's an absolutely stunning performance here by him.
You know, he was doing a good job on the slick tyres actually until obviously some of these boo-boos, but he's definitely still trying. Sandeep Choda actually set the fastest lap of the race again on his previous lap, a 1:31.8. In fact, Pavel Lotnovsky was only 0.2 off of that time. So those two are very much the class of the field. They're pulling away from Mike Quint, who we said looked like he was going to be in potential position to take, maybe even fight for the win, but just isn't. Is Eric Stanford going to escape now, or is he still going to keep trying?
Might actually be positive for Quint though.
There we
because
go.
If the others are waiting for too long. Oh, is Stanford out now? Ah, sadly.
Yes.
Ah.
I thought he was going to call it quits there. He was. He
At the
seemed to
very
struggle.
last, at least even he has retired now after going on for so long. But
Oh, Mike Quint's out of the race.
oh my!
Third position, Mike Quint is
Oh,
out.
and on the front straight. Ah,
Another engine blown. These
and that's
guys
banana
need.
going past in the Leighton house.
Yeah, up to the podium. This is see, this is more what I expected from this race.
To be
As, Mike
completely
Quint.
honest, a lot of people are complaining that back in the day, there was a lot of people. It just took the tension of the racing away if too many people had engine failures. But this is absolutely unpredictable, and I find this very exciting at this stage of the race. Of course, even in the front battles, we had Manu Klont now go
Pavel Lotnovsky into the
completely
pit lane.
out.
Sorry, Pavel
Oh
Lotnovsky
my.
into the pit lane.
Finally, after 27 laps.
Yes, the completion of the of that 27th lap, or 28th lap actually, the completion of 28th lap. He is into that pit lane. Has his tyres changed? Probably a little bit of a little squirt of fuel in, and he will be on his way. We'll see if Sandeep Choda has actually made a mistake at Villeneuve there, ran a little bit wide. Pavel Lotnovsky is about to leave the pit lane now and come down to the Tamburello chicane. Will this push Mr. Choda to making a pit stop?
Oh my! He's really trying here. Give it on the road. I think he might be losing a lot of grip on the front tires now.
Probably pushing as well very, very hard as he knows that he's got to make up as much time here as Pavel Lotnovsky's obviously going to be on cold tyres. Cold tyres, very tricky to get up to temperature in wet conditions. Of course, the track surface, very cold as well. Not giving so much heat as you see Pavel Lotnovsky actually struggling through Toza in second position, 35 seconds off of that lead. So that's roughly pit lane travellers, about 30 to 35 seconds as Sandeep Choda is coming down to the final complex of corners. Is Sandeep Choda going to dart off onto the right-hand side of the circuit and go down pit lane?
And Fernandin is also in the pits now.
Yes, Sandeep Choda now into the pit lane.
Did he make up enough time, though, to stay ahead? Or did Lognovsky might have... Could he have succeeded with the undercut there?
We shall see Vananen exiting pit lane in podium position. What a fantastic result for him this will be. As we have Pavel Loknovsky. He's in the third sector now, coming down towards the final complex
and we've got Sandeep's,
corners. Sandeep is already leaving pit lane. This could be a huge gain, actually, for Sandeep Choda leaving pit lane now.
Is.
Absolutely,
but that depends. How far can he accelerate? And okay, he doesn't make a mistake as Straub actually did before.
Yes. Through the Tamburello chicane, Sandeep Choda on some very, very cold tyres. 16 seconds at the line. Of course, we don't really want to know the line. We want to know at the exit of the first sector. You want to know that split. But I can tell you for certain this is going to be above 10. I think it's going to be above 10 seconds. Especially if Pavel Loknovsky makes a mistake like that again. It is 9.9999999. So I was wrong. Fundamentally wrong. But 9.9 seconds, basically 10 seconds, is your gap between the lead. Sandeep Choda setting his pace on fire on that in-lap. As I said, Pavel Loknovsky struggling with the cold tyres. The undercut doesn't seem to work so much in these conditions.
And Florian Engel finally passed my Quint as well here.
Yeah, just Randerson won't be too far behind on that overtake.
Yeah.
Although not really an overtake, but you know what I mean.
At least so far. Well, we learned through this entire race that anything can happen so far, so...
Absolutely. Of course, wet conditions and a tricky mod means that these boys will be struggling to get to the end. I wonder how many finishes we will get by the end of this race. Although this will bring into some very interesting contention as to how many people are actually going to be finishing in Monte Carlo. I feel we've got to turn the damage down slightly for some of these boys to get to the end because at this rate we're going to have 2 finishers. Of course, what was the year? Was it '94 that 4 people finished the Monte Carlo Grand Prix? Was it 4?
I'm not quite sure, actually.
I think both fundamentally, me and you weren't alive, so that's always a good shout. As we are seeing Pavel closing in that gap slightly, but definitely not enough. It's 9.8 seconds at the moment for Pavel Loknovsky, behind Sandeep Choda, who's looking to take his second win in GPVWC. Of course, previous win, dry conditions, Hungaroring. So now he can add this one to the list of tracks, provided he gets through the next 17 laps. It was 1996. Monaco Grand Prix. Thank you.
With Olivier Panis's surprise win there.
Yeah, thank you, Scott Beresford, for useless F1 fact number 1. Yeah, we've. I'm not so good with my my old F1 history, so especially not when I'm tired. Pavel Loknovsky though is closing that gap in ever so slightly. I'm not really sure what to focus on here. There's not really so much going on now, and our fun with Eric Stanford in the pit lane has ended, so not really sure where to go. So if anyone has a question or anything, send it to me on Facebook or something. We'll discuss it on this broadcast right now. But yeah, Pavel Loknovsky coming up to lap Gerard Buttle, who's currently in 4th position. Oh wow, that's a good drive for Gerhard at the moment in the Tyrrell Honda. Of course, his teammate blew up all over the place.
Could he have lost connection?
I think so.
Oh no, he's back.
Is he? He's behind. Okay, he's behind. Yeah, there's been a mighty screen freeze.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think the least thing we want is for any more drivers here to end the race.
Yeah, we don't want any more retirements. We've got enough at the moment, as it is. This is not super surprising, considering how difficult this is, and of course a lot of people being away from RF1 for such a long time and actually not realising how difficult a sim it is. Purely based on its inconsistency. Wow, Pavel took an awful lot of time out on that lap. 8.3 seconds now is the lap. Pavel on some fresh tyres is really pushing this gap down.
Well, at least we haven't lost all the drivers over the first couple of laps. Sorry there.
Who was that in the? It was Engel who went off at the second to last corner. Currently 7 people remaining in this race, 3 on the lead lap.
Could it be though? If Anderson closes the gap more, we could have a fight for 6th place. If Anderson gets himself
he
in
needs
there.
to close that gap an awful lot though, because it is Florian Engels coming through the Tamburello chicane and Anderson's coming up to the final complex corner. So there is a fair distance between Anderson and Engel in the Minardi Ferrari and the Williams Renault. Who doesn't love a good old Minardi? I'm actually surprised. Have we only got one Minardi out there? I think we do.
Yeah, we only do.
That's a shame. Everyone loves a good old Minardi, don't they?
Yeah, but of course we do. Oh, there's another engine blew off, and it's battle.
Oh, in 4th position. That's another one, yeah.
Oh, that's another Tyrrell. So that's both Tyrrells out with engine.
God, again, Honda. What a shocker. From 1991 to 2015, they didn't learn anything. Cool.
Well, at least it isn't Peugeot like for McLaren.
Absolutely. But yeah, again, a lot of these guys just need to run a bit more radiator for next round, evidently.
Yeah, definitely.
I distinctly remember once last season, Philip Pushka at the Singapore Grand Prix in Super League. As Pavel Oknovsky has made a big mistake, has actually dropped 11 seconds off, so this now turns into a podcast.
And Vananen is almost being lapped.
Yeah, I reckon so. He's not too far off as, let's battle out. But yeah, this insane drive from Philip Pushka. I've actually talked about this on the Super League broadcast, where what Pushka did was he took a car, realised about 3 laps into the race or something like that, I think it's actually a bit more than that he was running too low radiator. He, saw his engine temperature spiking a little bit, and then short shifted for the next 60 laps until the end of the race, and ended up finishing about 7th or something like that. And that there is the mark of someone that is definitely able to win a championship, someone that can short shift, that has that mental capacity to go, no, I won't push throughout this race because I know I can't. I know this engine's going to blow up. And I think that's what some of these boys really need to do, is they need to look at the amount of DNFs through exploded engines, of which recently we've had 4, and take control of that. We are approaching the final 10 laps of this Grand Prix, but
I'm actually surprised that we didn't have more DNFs through engines.
Yeah,
that many for accidents.
I think enough people crashed their cars before they had time to blow up their engines. I'd suspect we'd have quite a few explosions, as we had another one, Yanni Vananen. Another one with an engine gone from a podium position as well. Yanni Vananen out of this race.
That is a huge shame. He didn't really do any mistakes.
Rate,
that's a second later now, so that's a
this
huge
rate,
shame.
Anderson is going to get a podium. He's certainly, at this rate, Anderson's going to get a top 5. You go, Josh.
And he's almost... Oh, Engel with a slight mistake there, so...
Anderson's catching. Anderson is catching.
Could he have a battle before this race ends?
Probably not. Probably not. We've got 2 drivers on the lead lap, 13 seconds apart, as Zanip Joda is setting some very decent pace.
Yeah, and Loknovsky losing even more now.
Yeah.
Actually, Engel and Anderson, the 2 positions in front of them, they are absolutely going to catch because both of them have failed the engine.
Yeah, of course. So they are both going to be running up in that top 5. Engel 4th, Anderson 5th, which means your order, as stretching as this one is to remember, it's Choda, Loknovsky, Muru, Engel, and Anderson.
They're actually quite lucky though, because it could have happened that it was just 2 laps to go, for example, and if Vananen had his engine blow by then, he would have still been in front of Anderson and and Engel, possibly.
Still, though, Rani Muru is going to get a podium position here, provided he gets to the end of this race, which, from what we've seen, is not going to be the easiest task for these guys. And
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there certainly needs to be a rethink from some of these boys as to how they are approaching this series and approaching this mod, as this Grand Prix has not gone well for some.
Also, I think what we haven't noticed is that it actually stopped raining. Don't quite recall that. But now, the team duel that I spoke of before the race is going to be the great profit for the team that we didn't even see, which is Williams.
Yes, of course. Williams actually having both cars going towards the end of this race, being Joshua Anderson and Ranu Muri, provided they can get to the end. That'll be a nice
in the top
point
5 if everything
Ooh!
goes to plan.
Choda made a mistake there, didn't he? He's caused a boo-boo. I think Choda might be cruising or something. Oh no, his final sector was red. His final sector was like 5 seconds off. He must have just gone off at Ravazzi or something, because 5 seconds was taken out of his lead into that final the previous lap. 7.9 seconds is the gap between the leads, so it's come down from 13 to 7. I would say excellent driving but power, but that's through yet another mistake on this field. We'll keep an eye on Loknovsky though. I think Loknovsky might be catching a little bit more as well. He comes through the chicane, the final chicane, and crosses that sector split, which should be just about here. 7.7, so he's caught it down by 2 seconds, but yeah, very good point there. I'll talk about now. Why not? Another bit to talk about. Tomorrow, by the way, we have the World Sports Series, the first round of the World Sports Series coming from Sochi. Support series for the Russian Grand Prix, realistically, the week before, which you're not driving in, Mr. Hillebrand, I believe.
Yes, I am not.
Yeah, you're not a great fan of those old flat sixes.
No, I am. I really am not. But yeah, I'm more a fan of open wheel cars, for example, from Formula Challenge.
Yeah. Of course, you've got a few top tens.
As we're talking here, Florian Engel has just taken 4th place, and Joshua Anderson has taken 5th. So for me, it's making my heart race to see a Minardi driven by a German at Imola in 4th.
Oh dear.
Which is something I've experienced before in SRL.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely fantastic here.
Engel, they're doing a good job, but so we got WSS says Engel nearly spins out of Tamburello, but catches that. Very good catch. That's that is what we call the 2-foot hack save. As soon as you're into a slide, slam both feet down and hope for the best. Boom. As he does get out of the way of Ranu Muri. But yes, we have WSS, as I said, it's 2 races tomorrow evening. Also with a 15-minute qualifying session standard for GPVWC. The second race, normal reverse grid race. Not really sure what the reverse grid numbers are, but still that would be an interesting one to watch. And then there's no World GT this week. That's actually in 2 weeks' time is World GT. But then we have the Career Ladder Formula Challenge on the Tuesday next week. So 1 week's time from now, and then we'll have Super Cup and, of course, Super League from Sochi. I have no idea what the circuit's actually called. But yeah, that is
also having Joshua Anderson catch Florian Engel, and there's a bit of a display bug here, which shows. Oh, there we go. It's fixed now. But Engel is slightly losing time to Anderson here.
Yeah, whether he'll lose enough by the end of the race, we're not really too sure. As I don't think that gap's going to come down enough over the next 10 laps. Of course, final 10 laps of the race.
He has gained quite a lot, actually, Anderson. And I think the gap is about Rivasa right now. So the entire front straight right now here, as Anderson accelerates out of Rivasa, and Engel breaks for the Tamburello chicane and goes now through it again. This time without a spectacular save.
Yeah, no 2-foot hack save required this time. Although he's overcooked Villeneuve slightly. Yep, into the gravel trap he goes.
And that's going to close the gap again.
It's going to close it enough, but Anderson... Well, I'm not being mean here. But Anderson is fairly susceptible to mistakes. So Anderson needs to keep cool in there, boyo, and he'll be looking at the top 4.
So who will keep it together more? And will it be Anderson or will it be Engel? Like, who cracks first under the pressure?
Who cracks first? Based on how
Or
many
whose
mistakes
engine
we've seen
cracks
from
first? We've seen that quite a lot in this race already.
seeing how
5
many
times.
mistakes we've seen from Engel, I wouldn't be surprised if Anderson can take that 4th place, which would be a great result for our boy Anderson. Of course, doing cameras for quite a lot of the league and helping out with the broadcasts is Mr. Anderson.
But quite a serious in this race. I mean, Menno Clont having his engine fail on lap 18. And after that, in the next, from lap 24 to lap 33, we just had 4 other engine failures. The last 4 DNFs were engine failures alone. So, nothing is impossible at the moment.
Indeed, we've got 8 laps to go on the completion of this one as Sandeep Choda departs the Aqua Minerale and down towards the Variante Alta.
The gap is staying consistent there.
Yeah. So Choda's just been driving really, really well over the last few laps and is showing some very imperious pace. Is the Benetton Ford. As he's made a slight mistake there.
Oh
And
my,
that's gonna
and
be
the gap is closing by over a second without that already.
It'll come
over the
down a
last
second.
sector.
Yeah, it'll come down a second again, I reckon.
Might have closed even more now.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be down to 5 and a bit as long as Pavel's actually set a decent final sector. Yeah, mistakes
He
in
did
the middle
have a
sector
bit of
there
a
for
mistake there
Choda.
as well.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a slight mistake,
5.9 second.
Yeah, it was a slight mistake from Pavel out of the final corner, but not too big a deal. Yeah, Pavel. The thing is a lot of these drivers have actually done a lot of dry practice. Great line through the Tamburello chicane for Pavel Oknovsky there. But yeah, a lot of these drivers would have practiced in the dry, not in the wet. Of course, we are approaching dry conditions now. In fact, the line is fully dry at this present moment in time. As a slide through Villeneuve there for Oknovsky.
Oh, actually, what I was speaking about earlier, the engines, we've got that iconic Ferrari sound still in the field with the Minardi here. Also, we've got another V12 in the Lamborghini of Lognovsky in his Ligier. And other than that, we have the Renault RS3 V10 in the Williams and, yeah, the Ford V8, I believe. Yes, the Ford V8 of the Benetton. So we've got each end of formula still present in this race.
If I was Pavel, I would pit. You got nothing to lose. You might as well go onto the slick tyres. I mean, maybe it might cost you the win, depending on how many mistakes Sandeep makes. But at this point in the race, with it drying up and stuff like that, what is the harm in trying some slick tyres and trying to close down that gap by yourself? I mean, if the slick tyres are good in these conditions, you can close that gap down massively, bearing in mind that the fastest lap that we have in the dry, of course, it was under qualifying conditions. Not qualifying conditions, it was in quali fuel, I reckon, in practice, was a 24.2. These boys are currently running in the mid-33s, 34 area. I'm not saying that he would do a 24. I'm saying that he could possibly do a somewhere in the mid-20s, so well, on the higher end of the 20, so maybe a 27, 28, 29, something like that, actually. But that would be better than what he currently is doing, and it may force Sandeep into, if he makes a mistake, coming into pit lane. There is no reason why that isn't a valid strategy reason when Muru's a lap down.
Engel very slowly there. Very Rivasa, but I think it was just a driving error, I think.
Anderson's dropped back
I
massively.
had the suspicion there for a second that he might have
blown an engine.
Blown the engine. Was very scared there for a moment, but luckily he didn't.
Anderson's
It'd be a real shame to break this enduring long distance battle. And Lognovsky has gained an entire second for the last sector.
Yeah, he's made a mistake there. He gathers that one up, right? But yeah, Anderson did drop a lot back, so I think Anderson's made another mistake, which costs him the battle for fourth so far. But yeah, I don't think this gap's going to come down enough between Lotnovsky and Sandeep. As I say, he needed to do something off kilter. It's 6.7 seconds. Had Lotnovsky come into the pit lane a few laps ago and tried these slick tyres, then possibly a win would be on the table. But at this point, unless Choda makes a horrific mistake, it is going to be victory for the Indian driver.
And oh, Anderson also driving with quite low revs, so trying to cool his engine possibly.
Very, very possible. I've noticed a lot of drivers have been short shifting.
Yeah,
Oh,
the second
Anderson's
Williams from
pulled over.
Rano is doing the same.
Sorry. Anderson pulled over. I had a heart attack there. He was just letting Choda through.
my.
I thought his engine blew. Oh boy. Oh wow.
Choda did a mistake there as well, I think, for Raleigh.
Yeah, but if you look at how much Pavel's dropped through, Pavel's making very similar kind of mistakes, as it's 7.4 seconds drops to 7.163, but that's up from 6.7 where this lap started. So again, if you wanted to do something off kilter, you needed to have done it already, but now is way too late.
I think on Imola here is also another point. We noted already how very important straight line speed is. Of course, a higher radiator means less straight line speed as well. Oh,
sorry, Engel's just having a lovely slide out of field out there. I don't think that'll be anything for Anderson, because Anderson's way too far back, but he does rejoin onto Tosa. Boy, the mistakes the mistakes have never been so high. Haha, it's
the last
stakes so high thing. Haha.
The last 5 laps here, I think.
Yeah. Of course, our back to good old days back of lap completion as opposed to a lap on. So I think R-Factor 2 actually still does it. I have no idea. I don't usually pay attention. I just drive around and round until I run out of fuel. Haha. But yes, 6.9 seconds is coming down. It's not going to come down enough. Yeah, we've really not got very long left of this race. As Sandeep, if you watch, he's actually trying to use a bit of the wet stuff to cool some tyres, but not enough. It doesn't really work so well in RF2 or RF1, whatever one we're in.
And even with that mistake of angle just then at Tosa, Joshua Anderson can't really close the gap quite enough yet. But still, it's both Williams. Oh, he's also short shifting again, so both of them still thinks, yeah, both of the Williams short shifting, so they're on the identical setup with a rather low radiator to make up for the high downforce with the straight line speed, I think. So they're both trying to save the engine a couple of laps to go. Would be a really shame if they were to lose this battle right now. Also, quite notably is Toda and Lugnoski have basically going at it for the entire race, so that means they must have quite a high, well, not so high, but a radiator setting that's enough to cool the engine so it doesn't overheat or blow up. And that must mean that they are running even lower downforce than we thought. So quite interesting stuff right there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not long to go until these boys are home. But yeah, 6.5 seconds is the gap. As you see, oh, Pavel, whoa. He just
oh my,
nearly killed himself. Just touched a little bit of the grass. Hopefully these boys don't DNF. They need to get home. And yeah, it's been a tough race for some of these guys, but what an excellent win to start the season for Sandeep Choda this will be, as we have 3 laps to go here at the San Marino Grand Prix. Oh, it's terrifying when they slow down for corners and you listen to them. It's just like, oh no, they're definitely going to pull over now and retire, but no, they're fine.
Quite interesting here to watch. Definitely something to stay tuned on. So we have 2 cars having 44 laps completed, 1 car 42, and another 2 cars 40 laps completed. Out of the 19 cars that started, we have 5 cars still running. 5 were lost to, engine failures. And actually, what I just remembered is Joshua Anderson started from the pit lane. So quite a remarkable thing as he spins at Tosa, but still quite a remarkable gain from 19th to 5th place. And we didn't really notice him moving up that much either, so he's just been creeping up his entire race there.
Well, the general assistance of everyone in front crashing or blowing up has definitely assisted Anderson here. But it's a good drive for him to not be one of those, considering everyone else has been susceptible to those mistakes. So it's a good drive for Anderson for sure. 2 to go.
2 laps to go.
Yes, absolutely. I don't really know what to talk about.
It's just waiting and...
I've legitimately run out of things. So unless someone crashes or something
Anderson
amazing happens...
again with a slight mistake there.
Oh dear.
I think his tyres are really worn out now. Because Goodyear tyres aren't really good for that much anymore.
Oh, get the sponsorship in. Oh, the plugs. They're real.
Actually, we're having 2 tyre supplies this season.
Do we?
Pirelli and Goodyear.
Oh, we do have Pirelli.
For example, Benetton Ford running the Pirelli tyres.
Ah.
And I think, if I am looking correctly, every other team is running Goodyear.
It's not going to be a good year for them, is it? Sorry, I had to.
The pun had to be made, didn't it?
The pun did have to be made. I do apologise to everyone watching for my awful puns.
Well, we had Tyrrell fighting for the lead earlier, also on Pirellis. But yeah, that flame of hope was blown out quickly together with the engine.
Aha!
And there you go as well. I'm really sorry, audience.
Yes. Yes. No, there are a few people that will be proud of
1 lap to go now as he crosses the line.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a good drive for Sandeep. Plenty of mistakes. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he didn't make a mistake, he would have a lap lead over this race. Because I'm still very much on my Pavel should have pitted ages ago and tried some dries, but nevertheless, is still going to secure himself.
Oh, he lost 10 seconds
position.
that last sector, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't think it really matters at this point in the race. I mean, it's at this point, Pavel could actually throw it into a wall, completely DNF, and he'll still finish second. Sandeep though, for the final time coming around the Piratella, and nearly home, almost having a little bit of a slide there and down to the Acqua Minerale.
So half a lap to go, going down to Acqua Minerale.
Having some slight lag there is Choda, as he's made a little bit of a mistake as well. Good. This does not give me high hopes for the rest of this season, I shall not lie.
And going through Variante Alta, yeah, we're naming all the corner names now to show off our knowledge.
Well, it's not just that. I've got a track map on the... I'm cheating. It's not just that, but we have literally nothing.
Well. I've got it as well.
We have literally nothing else to talk about as he comes through Rivatsa.
Rivatsa, yeah.
And out of the final corner, with his lag, it's almost like he's going to spin at every opportunity.
Yeah. Now to the front straight where the Variante Bassa would be, which is the super bike layout, and he goes across the line to take the first victory of the Vintage Series. Winner of the first race, Sandeep Choda in the Benetton Ford number 20.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good drive from him, but Pavel Oknovsky, who's having some engine issues or just not caring anymore, is 35 seconds back. Just coming down towards that final complex of corners now. And
the race is also finished for Florian Engel, bringing it home with Minardi Ferrari in 4th place, 4 laps down.
Absolutely, Pavel Oknovsky here to the line, going to finish in second and secure himself second in the standings. But Rani Muru, this is more of an interesting one for me, is that Rani Muru in the Williams is going to be coming down to cross the line. I think it'll be Anderson first, but Muru is actually on the dry tyres at the moment. But not only that, Anderson and Muru will probably take the teams the leading the team's championship,
Let
considering
me
they are
quickly
the
have a
only
look
two.
there with the points.
Yeah,
We've
exactly.
got Muru in third with 35 points, and in fifth place with 30 points. So Williams will be in the lead with 65 points, 15 points ahead of Benetton. And Ligier obviously in third place then in the standings with 40 points. And Minardi
Yes.
in fourth place in the constructor standings with 32 points. As Josh Anderson goes across the line and also now in the runoff, doing some donuts there. While not caring about the engine.
Of course, though, that there will round us up for
and I believe
the Grand Prix.
All the others won't get any points at all. It seems they didn't finish the required distance.
The required distance, I believe, is 75%, isn't it?
75, isn't it?
75, yes, which no one's done.
That's a shame there.
We'll see if we can get anyone for an interview. If not, we will come to a nice close. Well, I think Sandeep might hop down here. Anderson sure will. We'll interview any of the 5 that finished, because why not? We'll have a quick interview with Joshua Hero Anderson, who finished in 5th position.
Starting from pits as well.
Yes, starting from the pits. How was that drive, buddy?
It's never going to be matched. It is never going to be matched. I'll say that once again. But that was the best race of my life.
Really?
It really was. I mean, the only thing I can pick wrong with it was an incident I had with Marcel Dammer on the about 3rd or 4th lap going into turn 1. I mean, at the time, I didn't think I had much space and I couldn't really go anywhere, and I'll have a look at that. But it's, I mean, I'll take any penalty I get a result of that. But that was the best race I've ever had in my life, and it was in open wheelers.
Yeah, so you were concerned as to your pace in open wheelers coming into this round. So going into Monte Carlo, if you finish that, surely based on the stats we've seen today, you'll probably win. How does that feel for you, Mr. Anderson? Consistency across the season, being one of the people that didn't actually destroy an engine. So how do you feel about that?
If I can finish at Monaco, it'll be a miracle. Because then I'll probably get a high result, as you say. It'll be also just be keeping out of the way. But Latin traffic at Monaco was an absolute nightmare, and we being at the back, it's going to be very problematic. So I'll have to find somewhere where I can just let everyone out of the way. But if I can do that, then I'll probably do well.
You certainly kept us on our toes for the last couple of laps when you're short shifting. So we were already fearing.
We were already. The whole race.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just find it works better for us.
Yeah, but absolutely. We noticed quite late that there were 2 Williams in the race, and those 2 Williams were the ones that we anticipated with a team advantage. As you are taking the lead in the constructors after the first race, how do you feel?
Well, there isn't really a team's championship per se because it's the real actual racing teams. But if there was a team's championship, then we're winning, which is always a good thing because I've never been in the lead of a team's championship before. So that's something I can be happy about. The fact that Rano finished 3rd is something I can be happy about. The fact I'm probably never going to score this many points again is something I should be very happy about. And I'm a very happy man, I'll say that much.
Well, congratulations to you, Mr. Josh Ransom. We'll see you about as the season unfolds. Next in the room is, of course, the race winner. Second race win in GPVWC, Mr. Sandeep Choda. How was the drive for you? You seemed a little bit under pressure through various parts of the race from Mike Quint and Pavel Loknovsky, and even sometimes Mr. Menno Klont.
Yeah, because I had the worst start possible, apart from not getting hit from behind, which is fortunate. And then unless I made a mistake. And hardest part of this race was just keeping the rear tires cool, because I lost it about 3 or 4 times, just locking the rears. Just getting too hot.
Yeah. Do you suspect you will be of the same pace over the following few rounds and actually head, of course, to the end of the season remaining in championship contention, or do you feel Pavel is going to step up his game? Of course, having some very, very good pace prior to the wet weather running today.
Yeah, I'm just happy I won today. If next week in podium, yeah, I'll have a go to the championship. But let's see what happens. Only the first race, you saw how many good drivers had engine problems and stuff. Been if there's been any issues, and let's see what happens the next couple of races. And
So a shame, of course, for Benetton with Cabrera DNFing with a blown engine. But do you feel that Benetton can be fighting for the Constructor Championship further on in the season?
yeah, he was. I wasn't sure what happened to him, but again, it's probably like the first race. Drivers, they'll just have to see the next couple of races on like who's really going to be competitive in this championship. I'll help as much as I can. Really, I can get him close enough to the podium position to keep scoring points for us. Also, Williamson, obviously leading the constructors now. I think, I don't know, I'm not sure how the point system works in this vintage series, but this can just keep scoring good solid points, and yeah, we can definitely try to get constructors.
Oh, I think we may have lost Sandeep there.
Hello?
Hello?
No, we haven't.
Oh, he's still there. Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't think we'll have any. Oh, we do have a Mike Quint, who of course was running on some serious pace. We'll have a final interview before we move on to the end of the broadcast. Of course, Mr. Mike Quint having some very, very strong pace with an engine failure throughout that race. Do you think coming to Monte Carlo, you'll have a similar pace and maybe sort out some of those engine issues?
Yeah, I think in the next race we will have the similar pace, but the engine failure was quite unfortunate. We had good pace. Don't know what happened. My radiator settings were on 4, so maybe I revved up too high. Don't quite know what happened, but yeah, it's it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I did notice that quite a lot of people were short shifting in their cars out there. So maybe it is a driving thing. Stuff to learn, of course, through every round. There is always a lot of learning to do. Do you feel that you've learned a lot from the first round here?
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot. I made one mistake in the chicane. The rear tires were, as Sandeep said, very difficult to keep warm, and I had a lot of wheel spin, but in the end it was not that bad conditions.
Indeed. So outside of that, I feel we've thank you to all the people that came along for interviews as well, and for everyone watching the inaugural round of the Stormcharge Vintage Series season here in 2016. We'll obviously be back in about a month's time for the Monte Carlo Grand Prix. Not sure who's going to be on commentary for that one, but I'm sure going to be watching. I'm pretty sure it'll be Quintin Plane still on cameras. Maybe Nicolas Hillebrand will return on commentary. But for the inaugural round here of the Stormcharge Vintage Series at Imola, that is all. So thank you all for watching, as I said. And until next time, have a very warm goodbye.